Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. I am Robin Rodrigues. I'm the Executive Director of the San Mateo County Office of Arts and Culture, which was formed in very late May 2021. So I'm a year old now. Yeah. And with me here today is Mara. Where are you, Mara? Hiding somewhere. Wave, Mara. There you go. Mara is my colleague. She handles administration. She's administrator manager for the Office of Arts and Culture. And I'd also like to recognize at this time Victoria Magbilang, who is our newest Arts Commissioner representing D5, which is way up in Daly City, Colma, top part of South San Francisco, and somewhere else. I'm forgetting a section, but way up north, that's Victoria. So say hi to Victoria. And it is so great to see everybody here in person. And a little background is way back when I was just a commissioner, I had this idea that I wanted to do what they did in San Francisco, which is the key leaders of San Francisco Opera, Ballet, Symphony, ACT, and the Fine Arts Museums would get together 2 to 3 times a year, and they'd be complaining about ticket sales are down and revenue is up that year, and they were sharing information, and I wanted to do that. And at that time, the commission was all volunteer. And so the then executive director of Thrive, George's predecessor, Portia Chen Silverberg, and her associate, Cindy Abbott, said, we'll help you. And they did the RSVPs for me, and I ordered the food, and we had it at Hill Barn Theater, 2014. I don't know if anybody was at that meeting, and it was really amazing. The people absolutely loved it. I was telling some of the attendees earlier, a woman came up to me at the end and she said, I can't thank you enough. I always feel like I'm operating in a silo. And I said, well, that's why we're here. We want you to be able to share and partner and learn from each other. So we are really happy that to have everybody back in person. The last time we did the Connect the Arts was 2018. So we did 2004 every April, 2014 through 18. In 2019, we went on hiatus, the commission, while we started working on a new strategic plan. And the new strategic plan took, don't they always, longer than one would think to get done. And we had hoped to have it done September, October, and did not happen. We finally got it done in January of 2020. We were so excited. And so we brought it to the Board of Supervisors because they have to approve our plan. They just don't let me run amok and do whatever I want, even though I'd like to. But we brought it to their regular supervisor meeting on February 25, Tuesday, 2020. And they were over the moon. They were really happy with the plan. Supervisor Slocum said it was the best plan he'd seen for, a quote nonprofit, even though we're commissioned, government commission. And we were over the moon. And then 2.5 weeks later, we go into shelter in place. And of course, the world changed. And so we have continued, the commission continued, and we did, when the pandemic hit, we gave out 280-ish, somewhere around there, 250, 280-ish in emergency grant funding to the nonprofits. I called up my friends at Packard Foundation and the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. I said, come on, let's have some fun. Give me a little bit of money. and I'll be your re-grantor to help you fund during the pandemic. And they, to their great credit, agreed. Mr. Callaghy, county manager, also kicked in some extra money to our grants program so that we could make the grants go as far as we could possibly make it. So we also did, by the way, that summer, and in conjunction with Thrive and Georgia, we did a two-part Zoom webinar on how to pivot during the pandemic, how to survive, how do you achieve your mission when you're a performing arts, say, organization, but you can't perform anywhere? What do you do? So that was pretty successful. And so as we come out of the pandemic, I think I guess it's really safer to say, how do we navigate safely through it, is I think where we are now. How I look at it is we want to hear from you. I want to bring back the annual Connect the Arts. And I know that Georgia, and she's gonna come up after me, Georgia would love, and Petra, to get the Thrive Arts and Culture Tag Group going again. We'd love to hear from you, where you are and what you need. And for you, mostly though, to present you with an opportunity for you all to reconnect with each other, not just the Office of Arts and Culture and Thrive. But to wrap up, I'll just tell you real quick a few of the things that the Office of Arts and Culture has been working on. We got some funding from a funder, and we're going to be offering educator microgrants, $200 microgrants to classroom teachers in Title I schools for art projects. We're going to have our annual grants program coming up later this fiscal year. In the fall, stay tuned for our third equity workshop. If you missed the first two, contact Mara. She'll send you the link to the first two so that you can catch up. We will be starting shortly. The dates I'm not sure yet if it's August or June. We're going back to offering art classes in the county jail, Maple Street Correctional Center. We do classes in there. It's twice a week, there will be six-week sessions twice a week. They get art classes. Mara will be doing Poetry Out Loud in February. Again, that's the annual, national annual poetry competition for high school students. And so that's on the agenda. And lastly, there's a flyer over there, right, Mara, is on the table. Part of the strategic plan is that one of the initiatives in the strategic plan is to do a annual celebration of the arts. And so we're doing it in August. We are featuring all of the arts organizations' activities during the month of August, as well as on August 27, Saturday afternoon in San Mateo City Central Park. The city has graciously given us their stage. In the park, there's the outdoor stage and the seating area, the lawn area. And we have a whole slew of performers of from various types of performances: dance, theater, music, opera, all kinds of some youth poetry we're doing in as part of that. So pick up a flyer, and then make sure if you have an event that you want listed on the August calendar that we are putting on the county website, let us know. You can always email us we're really easy, arts and culture, all one word, arts and culture @smcgov.org. And lastly, Mr. Callaghy, the county manager, he's really into public art. So the county it's just, I'm throwing this out there because the process will involve selecting local artists from either the county or perhaps the Bay Area. But it's focused on local. So there's going to be a brand new building. It's called the Navigation Center, which is a facility to get the homeless people situated in appropriate and more permanent housing. So there's going to be in that new building some public art. The Cordilleras Mental Health Center is being totally redone, and I'm really excited about that one. There are some big plans. I'm going to be hanging out at the Cordilleras Center outside with all the public art. It's going to be fabulous. And then also the county has a new building going up that you will have probably seen, construction going on downtown. That's going to have some public art in and out, as well as rotating galleries to promote individual artists. And our county galleries curator, you just email us at artsandculture@smc.gov, and we can connect you to, if you're interested, to our county galleries curator, because we're always looking for local artists from the county to feature. So that's what Mara and I have been working on this last year. And I'm going to turn this over to Georgia, and she can tell you all about Thrive.
All right. Thanks, Robin. And hi, everybody. I'm Georgia Farouk. I'm the executive director of Thrive. And most of you know that's the Alliance of Nonprofits for San Mateo County. So a few things. I think the first thing is it's really a privilege to be co-hosting with the Arts Commission. Robin failed to mention that she was a board member for Thrive for many years. And so she's been advocating for the arts, both at the county level and also on the nonprofit level for a long time, and has fought really, really hard to get the Arts Commission a proper office and everything. So thank you. And thanks for what you did during the pandemic as well. So it's a privilege to be co-hosting. The thing is that I think you can understand that during these last few years, if you're in the arts, you may have felt forgotten, despite the best efforts of, the Arts Commission. It was, all of the emergency funding was really geared towards obviously the emergency response. And so I think what we want to do is tell you that we were working really hard behind the scenes, advocating for funding, sitting on panels, grant review panels, and saying, what about the arts? What about the arts? And it was really challenging. I think the other thing why Thrive is doing this, why we're all here, is that we're not really satisfied with where the arts are in San Mateo County. We think, so much more can be done. So, and we believe in the collective power of this group. I, like Robin, like history. So I also have a couple of historical slides because I think it's important to just kind of run through what this group has already done. Okay, so before we get to that though, let's just talk about this space. One of the things we're really proud about is that we are a pillar partner of the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. So Thrive Alliance, which is an alliance of nonprofits for all of San Mateo County, is one of 3 pillars to help program this space. And so these are the goals of this community space. We're really excited. We had a big kickoff event in April for our partners, and we had over 100 people here. I think the limit was 100, so we kept it to 100. It was a lot of fun. And then the next slide shows you the 3 kind of pillars. We have celebrating local arts and culture, which is being led by Redwood City Parks and Arts Foundation. They are responsible for the gallery that's up here right now. And if you have time, take a look at some of the art that's, all over here and the artists that are being represented. Building community, which is being led by Redwood City Forward. And that's really here, pretty local about breaking down silos between organizations and individuals. And then Thrive is leading, supporting nonprofit leaders. And we're doing that through a multitude of ways. Next slide, please. So we launched our Nonprofit Connection series, which really is trying to create meaningful spaces for all of you to co-create solutions. And so, you know, you have to hear a little bit of us speaking, but really the facilitation portion of today, you'll see that it's really about you all co-creating solutions. Next slide, please. And then we're doing that through our leadership luncheons, our affinity groups, like today is an affinity group, and partnership possibility spaces, which really is where we take some of our strategic alliances work, figure out what are the collaborations that can help you all thrive. Next slide. Okay, so back to the history lesson. Thrive, arts and culture is one of 5 issue areas that Thrive works on. So we do basic needs and safety net, environment and sustainability, children and education, immigrant and workers' rights, and arts and culture. They all integrate pretty well. Arts and culture, you know, is a little bit more independent, kind of on its own, a little bit. We're trying to integrate it more with the other areas, but we did have a vision. So this group, and back in the day, I think there was a bit more of a critical mass pre-pandemic, but we had created a vision for the arts and culture group, and that was creating a collective voice for the arts in San Mateo County. So it's not just sitting around and waiting for others to tell us, it's what can we do? Is it that we want to create, I think some of the ideas out there that even Robin has kicked around, do we want to create an arts corridor in San Mateo County? Like, what is the vision collectively? How can we advocate? And we had 3 priority areas: advocating for increased arts funding. That was a big one. Organizing activities, sort of lobbying, and at the local and state levels. And I know we've talked to Mara and Robin about maybe reconnecting on partnering on some of that work. And then building on work on nonprofit displacement, because pre-pandemic space in the arts was such a big issue. It still is, but it's sort of morphed into a new thing now. So historically, this group actually, it wasn't us, it was this group that came up with those priorities, and we had been working on them. Next slide. And then this was our pandemic response. The first that Robin mentioned was the 2-part series with Ron Adams on recovering strategic momentum, June and July 2020. What's odd is that it doesn't feel like that long ago, and I guess not a lot has changed in some ways. A lot has changed and not a lot has changed since then. But at that point, it was all about retooling the business models. And if you're here and you have an arts organization, you probably figured out a way to survive, right? And it probably involved some sort of shift in your business model. The other way we were responding was, again, the emergency funding advocacy at the community foundation and county levels. We were reviewing applications for, sometimes it was for San Mateo County and Santa Clara County. The first job that I have is to say, don't forget about San Mateo County. And then the second job I had was, don't forget about the arts, because that would get kicked off to the side. So that was a big piece of our advocacy. And then what continues today is the ARPA funding advocacy. We know that there are going to be discretionary dollars that can be invested in the arts. So we are continuing to be vocal about that. Next. All right. Thrive has grown quite a bit in these last 6 years. So we are a team of 8. And I am really thrilled to introduce our Senior Director of Programs, Petra Silton, who's been working with Mara Grimes behind the scene to plan today's event, and who's going to tell you about a couple of upcoming events and get us started.
Thank you, Georgia. It is, as Georgia said, so nice to see you all like this, 3D, figure out who's tall, who's short, all of that. It's really, really nice to be here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the other things that are coming up at Thrive, so that you have an idea of kind of the big picture. I know a lot of you saw me today and said, oh, you're the one who emails all of the time. This is because we have a lot of really exciting events coming up. we even have partners in the room that work with us on voter education and outreach. We do a lot on that. We're meeting here tomorrow. Any organization that's interested in that is welcome to join us. And we even put together this year a super easy toolkit. So if you want to educate people about how to vote and why to vote, you can let me know and we can give you one of these great toolkits that you can use with your community. So that's one of the events. And then also tomorrow, we've been doing a series that you're all invited to, as well as your entire staff, on wellness, because this has been really hard on everybody, definitely on nonprofit workers. So every other month we have a session that everyone is welcome to. So there are a couple other things that are coming up that are kind of save the dates at this point. September 22nd, we're going to be doing an event right here in this space called Partnerships in Education with the San Mateo County Office of Education. And anybody who's providing services to children, extended learning, arts. The idea is to build up the relationships between the school districts and the CBOs. So you're very welcome to come to that. Ask me more information later. We're also going to be doing a racial justice summit in November. We're doing a climate summit in October. And again, we hope to see you in some of those things as well. So today, we have a fun-packed agenda. And one of the things I want to emphasize is this is a lot about just talking to each other and seeing where we want to go from here. So the first thing we're going to do is a activity where we're going to get to know each other. Then we're going to actually work on some of the kind of big questions, where we want to go from here, and hear from you, because like Georgia was saying, this isn't about us, this is about how do we make the whole arts community stronger. So Mara, who's been planning with me, will explain how the very first thing is going to be, and then after that we'll be working with the fun things you have in the middle of your table.
Thank you. Petra and I are kind of mischievous, and we also both realized we have something in common. We don't like to sit still for very long. So we thought we would get you up and moving a little bit, not exercise, but we want you to find somebody in the room that you haven't talked to yet today, or somebody you don't know. And we want you to introduce yourselves. We want you to pair up, and we want you to find out these things about the person, of course, their name, their organization. We want their favorite artist, any of the arts, not visual, or it could be visual. Your favorite art medium, if you have one, and also what upcoming events or exhibit performance that you have going on with your organization or in your personal life. There's a lot of not just artists here today, and you know who you are. And so I want you to tell us about a show that's coming or something you're working on. So you're gonna pair up. You're gonna find out that person's information. We're gonna come back. You're gonna sit at a different table because we want you to meet more new people. And then you're gonna publicly introduce that person.
And you have 5 minutes starting now.
Go. I'm so excited that you guys are having these great conversations with each other. Let's head back to our tables though. Oh, stay where you are, the boss says. Yeah, sit together. All right, are we ready? So we're gonna, a minute each max. So go quickly because we want to learn about everybody here, and I'm going to have you start, Cheryl, because you look like you're ready. Oh, you have to talk into the microphone.
Okay. Hi, I'm Cheryl. I met Karen McPhail Bell, and she is in the public health sector, has been a researcher and evaluator, but she's also an artist with acrylic and other mixed media, impressionist world. Her background is public health and anthropology. She is from Australia and came here 5 years ago or so, and she is independent.
I like it.
Great. Me too.
Independent. All right. Nice to meet you. And you want to introduce Cheryl?
Thank you for that. I had the pleasure of talking with Cheryl. How do I say your surname? Marilich. Cheryl is born and raised in Redwood City. Her grandma, her house was just walking distance from when she was alive, walking distance from theirs. Cheryl is a retired teacher, had 30 years working as a teacher and just retired a year ago, having taught kindergarten to year 8. Since COVID, she became good friends with someone who was working at Parks and Rec and someone who was working at the library. And through that COVID bubble, she ended up finding about the opportunity where she is now working at the Parks and Arts Foundation for Redwood City. I hope I explained that correctly. And has a very inspiring boss who I'm keen to learn more about as well. Her favorite artist depends on the mood, which makes sense to me. And her favorite art medium, she loves doing photography, but it's not necessarily that it's the favorite medium per se. And the next event coming up is Pub in the Park this Saturday at Red Morton Park. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm going to let you guys self-select instead of me calling on you. So who'd like to go next? Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rafael Prado, and I had the pleasure of meeting Danny. She is the marketing manager for Fioli, which I told her sounded like a flower to me. And she said it does because where the organization is or their building is up at Woodside. And she says that they do have a beautiful garden and it is open to the public. So I'm looking forward to checking it out myself. And thank you for this opportunity to meet people.
All right.
Thank you. So this is Raphael. He works for BACHAC, which is the Bay Area Center for Health and something.
It's Bay Area Community Health Advisory Council, BACHAC for short.
Thank you. And Raphael's favorite artist is Kanye West, or anyone who does hip hop, for inspiration when he's working. Favorite art medium is fashion, and he's also here to learn more about networking when it comes to some of the work he's doing for his own fashion brand. And he's working with BACHAC at some high school wellness events that are coming up soon. So yeah.
Thanks, Danny. All right, hand it to somebody else. We'll just play like hot potato or something now.
There you go.
Okay, my partner here is Dipti. She is an independent artist, and so she's not with an organization, but her studio is named DI Studios. She also, like a lot of us, has lots of different favorite artists, but an artist who has been at the forefront of her mind recently is Claude Monet, because her son has been studying him. She is a collage artist, multimedia, and she is going to be having her work in the Mountain View Art and Wine Fair coming up in a couple months. And she's going to have an exhibition of her work at the San Mateo County, an office building somewhere that we're not totally sure what the name is. But it's a ways ahead, so she'll figure it out.
So that's at the county center where we have several galleries that we curate with our curator, and she was part of the Women's View exhibition recently.
Thank you. So I'm really grateful I got to meet Tara Fuller. She works at this organization called Art Bias. They have a lot of studios for upcoming artists. And her favorite artist is Alonzo King, who is a choreographer. Her favorite art medium is textiles, and she loves mix of a lot of different textiles. For upcoming exhibit, so Art Bias, through Art Bias, she does a lot of First Sunday open studios. So I think they are there every month, right? Yeah, they're based in San Carlos. So anybody who can go for the open studios, I think they're a lot of fun.
Thank you. Hand that thing off. You have it. You got it.
Me? I'm embarrassed too, but
You know what? We're all friends. We're
I
gonna
know.
be close
Just want
friends
me to
after
you myself.
this,
We're
right?
friends. Okay, I have the pleasure to meet Mr. Bob Hill. He's retired and he's a photographer for 15 years. And he's been traveling Iceland, you say Cuba too?
Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba. And his favorite artist is Masfili Parrish.
Maxfield Parish.
There we go. And his favorite art medium is Dorothy Lang.
No, that's my favorite photographer.
Oh, favorite photographer. But it was- yeah, he told me a lot about favorite photographer. And let's see what else. I've had a pleasure to meet him because I've been telling him that I love photography and yeah, it was for a reason that I came close to him. So it must be for something.
Okay. I have to put my glasses on. This is Roxanne Escamilla, and she's with the Casa Circularo Cultural. Her favorite artist is Van Gogh, and her upcoming project, which I'm sure you're all going to attend, is the Day of the Dead, and it's on November 6th at the town square, 4 till 8, rain or shine. And I expect you all to be there because I know who you all are.
Thank you. You did a great job.
All the staging. Hi, everyone. I was able to meet Wendy also with Casa Circulo. She's both a parent and a volunteer with that organization and has been for a long time. Her favorite artist is also Van Gogh. And then not surprisingly, her favorite art medium is acrylics. And then same upcoming performance, but she also told me about a lot of the times Casa does, I'm a new resident to Redwood City, so forgive me. A lot of stuff with the Magical Bridge. And then there's a really great event that also goes on where the students get to perform with the San Francisco Symphony. So that's also a big highlight of the year. So yeah, that will be upcoming performance.
And you also get to see Casa Circulo at our August 27th event in San Mateo Park. So come ahead.
And you will see Roxana dancing. Okay, good afternoon. I'm gonna introduce Pirada. She's an independent artist, and her favorite artist is Julia Child, who you remember the movie, so she wrote a cooking book. Her favorite art medium is movement, and the upcoming exhibit that she's having is an exhibit that is called Slow Down. That is, you know, after summer and everything, when you come into fall, that you need to slow down on your activities, on yourself, or and it's for kids. Is also she's teaching that and in the exhibit.
Thank you. There's also a Julia Child rose that's yellow. That's one of my favorite roses, if you don't know about that.
So my person that I got to meet is Marlene, and Marlene is here for many reasons, many different hats like we all tend to wear. So she is also a graphic designer and also started United Peace Collective, which is working to bring peace to our communities through art, some art, using art to help ease tensions. Her favorite artist is Earth, Wind, and Fire, and enjoys glass art. Doesn't do it, but enjoys glass art very much. And the exhibit and performance
is the upcoming wedding in her family, which is totally performance art. So thank you, Stacy. This is Stacy Ardeline, who I had the pleasure of speaking to. She's with Fuse Theater. Her favorite artist is Julie Taymor, Lion Dance King, Lion King director, creator. Of course, her favorite medium is performance theater. And the upcoming exhibit or performance is the Fuse Theater trilingual play that will be happening in Rhode Island called What We Remember. So
Wow.
you can also go to Rhode Island.
That's right. Oh, but you don't have to go to Rhode Island because she's bringing a group on August 27th to San Mateo, Central Park. Be there.
Hi, I met Christine Leslie, and she is with the Peninsula Ballet Theater. Her favorite artist is Mikhail Baryshnikov, and art medium, of course, is performing arts, all of them, though. She is celebrating the organization's 50th anniversary this year, 55th anniversary. And this weekend is launching an international dance festival with all forms of art that represent across the world.
Thank you. And I'm here to introduce Molly Reedy. She's the program administrator at Music at Cole, and she's been there for 1 year now. Although her history with them goes back to 1980, her mother was one of the founders, the founders of their educational outreach program. And Molly is particularly fond of Georgia O'Keeffe. And again, Music at Cole is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and they will be launching their 8 concerts of chamber music in October through May. And in September, they'll begin their education outreach program that goes throughout the year that includes master classes, assemblies for younger children, and individual coaching for high school students, and as well as an instrument donation drive to get instruments into the music departments of the public schools. So she has her hands full.
She does, and we look forward to seeing Christine and her group at Central Park.
So I met Janice. Janice is the board president of Pied Pipers. Pied Pipers, she's been involved since her daughter was 6, and that's 10 years ago, I think. Pied Pipers is about to celebrate, or is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Her favorite group is the Dave Matthews Band. Live musical theater is her favorite art medium. And they are about to have auditions for their next production, as well as a cabaret show celebration of their anniversary. And their goal is to make theater arts accessible for all kids and adults of all ages. And another goal is to find a space. And we were just getting into that conversation when we ended. And so I want to hear more about that too. So that's Janice.
Thank you. I had the pleasure to meet Patricia, and she's also with Music at Cole Mansion. Her favorite artist, she said, was the artist that she is currently presenting. So it changes. And if she had to choose one, it'd be Leonard Cohen. Yeah, so and her favorite art medium is chamber music and opera. And the performance that she highlighted was in celebration of their 40th anniversary. In November, they have a concert that is going to be a commissioned new music by a Bay Area artist. And that will be their 4th commissioned piece in 40 years.
I had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit better Victoria, who you all got to hear is the new art commissioner for District 5. And her favorite artist is Peter Greenway, who is a director, British director. And her favorite art medium is modern art. And Victoria and I talked a lot about this event that she's planning for Daly City Art, right? Yeah. Did you all get that? And it's going to be at the Serramonte Mall on November 5th. And it's an art and lit fest that's going to be an all-day event inside the mall celebrating artists, literature. There'll be learning hands-on events for people, an uncurated art exhibit, which I think sounds really cool. So people can display their art and sell their art. And probably an auction. So items to donate to help raise funds would be appreciated as well.
Thank you. And I got to meet Susan, which, oh, sorry, let me open my notes again. I think I probably remember what she told me, but just to be sure. So she is with Philoli, which she said at first, I'm not really with an arts organization, but I beg to differ because I've been to Philoli and that place, everything about it is a work of art, from the architecture to the furnishings to the gardens. So she said that she really, really loves music and just recently has become obsessed with the Beatles. You know, of course, we are all familiar with the Beatles, but recently she's just really gotten to know a lot more about them and really appreciates their work. And the thing that they have coming up is an art walk, which will be the last weekend in July. They have 40 artists who will display their work throughout the garden. So I definitely want to go check that out. I hope the rest of you will too.
Well, thank you. I think we've met everybody in the room now. I do want to tell you that the Office of Arts and Culture has a newsletter where we promote these events. So please send them to me. Let me know and we will push it out. And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, let me know and we will sign you up. All right, Petra, your turn.
On the subject of newsletters, we have newsletters too. If you're not on our list, let me know, or some of our terrific staff people here who I failed to introduce. So Michelle is here, Vel is here, Yahira is hiding in the back. Please sign up so that you can find out about more events like this. And if you are a Thrive member, we're a membership-based organization. If you're a member, you can submit events to our newsletter and we'll put them out. And so it's a different, we have different audiences. Ours is several thousand people in the nonprofit community. And but we do love to let people know. And if you're not a member, you can pay a small fee and then it also goes in our newsletter and is listed on our website. So with that, we are going to go to the fun part, which is the collaborative part and the part where I make everybody get up again. And I only want people at 4 tables because otherwise you guys spread out too much. So we're going to use this table, this table, this table, and that table. So everybody get up, find a new table. I'm really mean like this. Okay, so these 3 in the front and that one in the corner. So you'll get one more chance to meet new people after this. But the purpose of what we're doing now is really kind of planning out what we want to do as we move forward with this group. So first of all, I think we've already done one of the things that for me is always a big goal, which is for people to get to know each other and get to know what's going on in the community, because there's so many great events. And if we don't talk to each other, we don't know what they are. So the first question is, how often do we want to meet as a group? So in the before times, as we call them, we used to meet pretty much monthly for our tag meetings. And the Arts Commission had, I think, some quarterly meetings. Anyway, it's all up in the air right now. We're going to reimagine how we want to meet. So the first question is, how often do you want to meet as a group? Then, why are we meeting? What are your goals and outcomes? And feel free to think broadly, be imaginative. What could come out of all of us being in the same room? And then what topics would you like to see as topics of meetings? Because so we can have speakers, we could have activities, we could have all kinds of things. What do you want to do? So we're gonna have about 10 minutes to do this, and then we're gonna have somebody report out from each table so that we'll have a little more discussion after this. So if you guys can, you don't have to come to complete agreement. Some of it can be a list, however you want to do. You know, you guys are artists, so I'm not going to give you like lines to color in. So, oh, and we have a question. So we don't have a full strategic plan, but we had the 3 priorities that we talked about before. Oh, the Arts Commission. Okay.
Yes, it is on both. If you go on the county website, you can click on either Office of Arts and Culture, which is under this county executive's office, or the Arts Commission. It's posted in both locations. You can print it out. It's a big fat PDF. Many, many, many pages. 32.
Yeah, so we will do what we always do, which is send out a follow-up link to this saying, thank you so much for coming. And here are some cool resources. So anything you want to include, we will include a strategic plan in that, a link to that, and we'll include anything you guys send to us that you want. So we'll include stuff about the arts, the August events that the Office of Arts and Culture is doing. And also just for clarity, we are 2 different organizations kind of co-hosting this meeting. So we're going to take this and we'll see some of the stuff we'll do together. Some of the stuff Thrive will do separately. Some of the stuff they will do separately. We'll see. So this is just a brainstorming. What's good for you? What do you want to see? So go.
So there's a little bit confusion about how to proceed after you decided on your actions. You can use the Post-it notes, make a note, and then kind of attach them to the bigger piece of paper because we're gonna move around a little bit. So yeah, you can each do a note. You can do 5 notes, whatever comes up. It's yours.
Okay. That's great. Okay, goals and desired outcomes. This time we're going to start with table number 89 over here. That's you. You didn't know you were table number 89. I'm sorry. I should have done a little place card for you. You have lots of things. Okay, so no, I'm going to give one of you the microphone. I'm going to give one of you the microphone and you guys can read it. Okay, who wants to read it?
I'll read it. Nobody else does. Go ahead. Okay, you can correct me if I got it wrong. One of our goals is to obviously sell more tickets, bring more people to our venues, whether they're performances or galleries, et cetera, events. Another goal was to meet more people, introduce more people. So individual artists meeting more potential fans, et cetera, et cetera. Another was to do some joint marketing and cross promotion together. And we talked about how that works. What does that involve? Does that involve printing something or doing something obviously digital now? Does that involve who manages that, who coordinates that? This is something that's come up many times as many of us have met in past years. We all agree that no one organization is going to be able to take that on. And so the idea was floated that possibly between Thrive, the Arts Commission, and each of our organizations, there could be funding available or made available for a part-time coordinator who could help reach out to all of us and help us with that joint collaborative marketing, sort of the arts are alive in San Mateo County kind of thing. We talked about more programmatic collaborations between groups. I think that was, get together and like as Peninsula Ballet Theater is doing right now with Masterworks Chorale, right? Which is, they're doing a Carmina Burana, is that right? With dancers and singers, and so we could, and orchestra, so we can get together. There was a goal to get to know and share resources, make sure that those of us who have information and resources that we discover can share with the rest of our colleagues here. There was, what is this one? Feedback, professional development. Dipti, what was that one? Individual professional development for artists. And I'm not sure how that manifests. Support ethnic and cultural arts to help educate and reduce racial hatred. And that's a really important goal. And sort of with that, I think supporting language and programs and initiatives around equity and inclusion. How do we do that? And how do we share information about that and language about that? And maybe come together as a community and a county. I think that's all we had. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anything that you just want to second, feel free to just say, we second that, but who's here? You.
What they said, and just to, I guess, reiterate, connecting organizations, events like this, but more of like a friends of the arts, that we are working together all for one common goal, which dovetails into marketing, maybe some coaching on how, marketing best practices to increase our organization's visibility and individual artists' visibility. We're just talking about goals, right? Networking, assistance with business plans and development, and getting the word out about what we all do. Did I capture everything? I think so.
Okay. You're closest, sorry.
Righto. So we covered a lot of ground. For our goals and desired outcomes, we talked about the importance of this being intersectoral across all sectors. The arts-based approaches have impacts and inputs that require like partnerships across sectors. And when we talk about arts-based approaches, it's not just what we imagine in the traditional sense. So for example, gardening is one such approach. And nurturing, supporting individuals and organizations and any folks who are working in this space to uplift it. And thinking about arts-based approaches in the sense of the impact that it can have for the whole of community, not just at the individual level, but the whole of community and well-being for that community or these communities. similarly to what's been said before, so +1 to finding, nurturing partnerships, sharing resources, and we pointed out how resources can include sharing people, of being people, offering, receiving mutual support, and we made a point of friendship, food, and fun. So they're some of the topics we covered span into goals and desired outcomes, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay, friendship, food, and fun, the 3 Fs. Okay.
All right, we took maybe a different approach to this topic. One of the things that we talked about was having our goals align with a strategic plan that the county has. So we'd like to see what that is, which was the question about where you can find that. Our biggest goal was to actually have a community arts center in San Mateo County that's inclusive of all arts. And, thinking huge, big ideas, as opposed to sort of the minutia ones that are also incredibly important. And that was the hope that there'd be like local artist workshops where people could come in and just have space to work in. You could imagine a place where you could drop a kid off for the whole day and they could have a dance class, a fine art class, etc. And I think that those were our main goals. Did I miss anything?
We're going to do lightning round now because I noticed the time and we still have 3 more sets of questions we're going to do some work on. So leave them with a microphone and very quickly, and this is just list them out, topics that you would like to have, see the
Fundraising,
meeting.
grant making.
Okay, fundraising and grant writing.
Topics, place-based approaches, arts in the Silicon Valley, Ohlone people and reciprocity for Indigenous, with and for Indigenous communities, thriving livelihood for artists on the peninsula, as well as entry and sustainability into the arts profession.
Excellent.
All right. Who's that? Okay, our topics are finance for nonprofits, marketing, and bias training.
Ooh, good news. We're going to do a bias training.
What? Oh, no. Okay, if you have answers that you just put them down on a little sticky and stick it on there and we'll talk about it later. Okay, next slide. So now we're going to do the same thing. Okay, everybody get up, mix quickly. And our next things are, the first 2 are where you get to be super selfish. What do you want Thrive to do for you? The second one is, what do you want the Arts Commission to do for you? And the third one is, what can you do for each other?
And you've got about 5 minutes to get this together. Move quickly.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's fine.
I think this covers all you.
Okay, you guys are ready.
Footnotes. Okay. Okay, we were hoping that Thrive could help, continue to help with the networking events like today, bringing us all together to brainstorm. Also coaching for funding for nonprofits and for-profits to help us all get the funds that we all desperately need. For the San Mateo County Office of Arts, we are looking for help to collaborate with one another, putting organizations together that can work well together. And then we were also thinking about monthly spotlighting of the different types of art. We were talking about the calendar year and just how a month could be, fashion month or chamber music month or, all the different mediums, and that the Office of Arts could do events around those specific things, do marketing, email, spotlighting those organizations as well, and other ways we could collaborate or what we could offer. We barely got to this, but somebody said workshops.
You come to the workshops.
Workshops is good.
Tough call, can't say.
All right, you guys, you're up.
There we go. Okay.
Thrive can help us by holding more events like this, including more time to network with one another. And we also talked about sort of having a resource hub somehow where we can share and support each other, both literally and figuratively. So I was giving the example of, as a theater company, I always forget to record what we do. So I'm always like last minute going, I need a photographer, I need a videographer. It's not something that's in my wheelhouse, but there could be other folks that are like, oh, I could come and take pictures for you or whatever. Or, if somebody needs a facilitation, that's what our company does. Like we can come and facilitate a meeting for you or something like that. So somewhere where we could have those resources and those people or those something listed. So kind of a hub. Continuing in-person meetings, everyone really feels like that personal connection and that time that you carve out is super important, to be face-to-face and to meet people. I think we're all wanting that very much right now. But I also, not losing the lessons of what we've learned in the last 2 years, those quick check-ins on Zoom, meetings, projects, quick things on Zoom, I think work best, and not meeting and developing relationships. So that's all we got.
A+. Oh, wait, I said there were no grades. Did you guys go already? So many tables.
Okay, Thrive. How Thrive can help convene events, connections to funders and sponsors, corporate world. How the county can help, again, as a convener of more events along the lines of festivals, unrestricted funding, like non-traditional ways of funding artists, like kind of taking down the barriers of the usual ways of funding artists that aren't just always tied to an organization, providing space, helping to educate on cultural arts and reducing barriers to production. I think a lot of times cultural, ethnic, and traditional artists always have to go up to San Francisco or down to San Jose, and then like the peninsula becomes this desert of where do we go to get support? All the Asian arts organizations I know are all up in San Francisco that would even entertain the kind of performance I would want to put on. So having more exposure to ethnic cultural arts in the way that would be kind of freeing. And then helping funding for production that, there's just been a lot of barriers to putting like, show your insurance, show all of these things. And it's like, it's actually not that hard in other cities. And then the offer to that point is to educate on what cultural, ethnic, and traditional arts are and how to frame grants that would not become onerous or limiting for the artwork.
What I love is like how different what everybody was saying, because it's awesome. You guys were being super creative. So with that, you have given us a huge amount to think about and chew on before we plan our next event. So I, first of all, just want to acknowledge the fact that there are a whole bunch of new people in the room, and that's really awesome. So welcome to all of you to continue joining us for all of this, because it really matters. The more people we have, the louder our voice is. We are going to take all of this and digest it and put it together in some cute little things. Yes, Kirsten is behind the scenes. She's not here today, but she is our operations manager, and she is going to work with me and with Mara to make this all easy to understand. So we plan our next thing, then we will let you know what is happening next. I do want to say that a couple people had to leave early, and Christine Leslie from Peninsula Ballet Theater said that they have theater space that they're willing to share, and that they have exhibition space that they're willing to share. And they like to collaborate. So because they are one of the larger organizations, please feel free to reach out to them. And we will think about how we can get better ways to share resources, better ways to share communication. And we will See you, as far as I can tell, the vote was for every other month. It seemed like it was a winning one, so maybe see you in 2 months, but definitely by email before then. So thank you so much for coming. We will send you a follow-up email. And Robin, do you have any closing words? You don't have to. I don't want to put you on the spot without asking.
But I just want to remind everybody to pick up a flyer. I'll just show you all about the Festival for the Arts that's going all through August with the big day on the 27th. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to have you participate. So pick up a flyer. If you want to reach out to myself or Mar, just as I said earlier, email us at artsandculture@smcgov.org. And thank you so much. You've given us a lot to think about and ponder to come up with some positive next steps.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say the art that you've seen here today, this art here, and if you've gone to the restrooms, that's put on with CZI in conjunction with the Redwood City Parks and Arts Foundation. And we're looking for our next cohort of artists coming in. We'll be looking for applications, I think, in August. So I'm going to put something with Mara into her newsletter about, but this is a great way for you guys to go, oh, so we're looking for more artists. And I know there's lots of artists here. So look for the advertisement or go to our website, the Redwood City Parks and Arts Foundation.
Another reason to sign up for our newsletters, right? And we have county galleries too at the county center. So artists, we got opportunities. All right, Petra, let's close this thing down.
So huge thank you to Robin and Mara for collaborating on this. And thank you all for coming, and have a great day. And take a cookie and an extra sandwich home, or 2, please, because more people signed up than came. So please go.